Okay, guys, girls, today it's a really important episode for me. Last night I couldn't sleep through the night. By the way, it's episode 275, Wednesday morning. I couldn't sleep during the night, and something was bothering me, something was bugging me, and it's do you know what? This is a real difficult episode for me because I normally like to be upbeat. I normally like to be because that is genuinely how I am. But like I said, last night I woke up at like 20 to 5, and I like to get up at 5 o'clock, but I was going to have a lie until 5:30 because I didn't go to bed until quite late last night. And something was bugging me. I couldn't get to sleep. I couldn't get to sleep. And it's because I mentioned something to my dad last night, and my dad said something to me saying that he would have said something. And I'm like, yeah, I should have done. There's been two instances in the last week, but bear in mind that I record these episodes a long time in advance. Excuse me, I've just had a protein shake, so my throat's a bit croaky. So I record these episodes a month in advance. So when you listen to this, it won't be that period. And there was two instances where I had racism. One was a direct somebody saying something to me, and I just thought, I actually got, genuinely, I just thought, no, the cat said that. No, please, no, the cat said that. Not in this day and age. Sure, well, not in any day and age, not acceptable ever. But surely the cat has just said that. And the problem is, didn't listen to anything else I said because I was like, holy shit, I think, and I was like, literally, I promise you, I was so taken aback. I couldn't think about anything else for the next like 30 seconds. I was just blah, 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 blah. I was like, shit, I think I did say something. And I'm like, well, do I revisit it? Do I go back? Do I say something? Do I stand up for it? Do I? And it wasn't massive, but it definitely had a racist undertone. And I'm actually upset with myself that I should have known straight away. Yes, I did hear that. Yes, that's wrong. No matter how uncomfortable it is, I should say something because that's how we educate people. That's how we, and it's not necessarily, I've got to show respect to the other person as well because it's not their fault. It's their environment because their environment creates your thoughts. And so if your environment, the people you hang around with most, your upbringing, your childhood, everything, if your environment, that's your environment, says that's okay, then they're going to think that's okay. And so your environment is what makes things acceptable or not. And so in their environment, that's acceptable. And so it's almost like educating people. Then I've got to show some compassion towards that and humility towards that person. Because you're only, okay, I don't really know how to get it out, but basically, you can only be the person you are through your upbringing. We're all a combination of all we've seen and been through. And so these people just need educating to understand that it's wrong. And no matter how uncomfortable, because the problem is when you try to educate in that sort of situation, you will get hit with ridicule, laughter, etc. because it takes more than one reference point for someone to get educated to think, racism is wrong. It takes more than one. It can't just be, hey, by the way, just, you know what you just said then? That's not, you can't really say that. It's not right. It's not because of this, and this. They're not going to go, oh, actually, light bulb moment. It's not going to happen. So the first time you're going to create animosity, you're going to create tension. It's going to be a conflict. And they're all uncomfortable situations. And that's why most people don't want to interject or say anything because it's an uncomfortable situation. And that's exactly why I probably didn't want to interject. I didn't want to bring it back because by the time I realized what they just said, it was been and gone. I couldn't work it back in. I probably could have done if I wanted to. And so I'm upset with myself in that. And then literally 3 or 4 days later, something else happened. Can't say too much about it because obviously people listen to this. And I just walked off. And I walked off because it's a group of people, and I'm genuinely getting quite emotional because I feel as though I could have done more and I didn't. And I feel like I let myself down. I feel I let the education down of the whole racism, and it didn't sit with me. And that is why I couldn't get back to sleep last night, because I had the power to stand up. I should have had the power to stand up to somebody and say, no, do you know what? That, or the group, and say, that's wrong, rather than just walking off. What does walking off do? It doesn't educate, it doesn't help. And I'm not blaming them people, because it's their environment. It's the environment people find themselves in, which actually, as I say, makes things acceptable or not. And that clearly in their environment is acceptable way to behave. But it takes people to stand up to that. And there'll be other people in that environment who don't believe the same thing and don't want to be a part of that. However, they aren't strong enough, like I wasn't strong enough to stand up to it. And so the reason I wanted to do this podcast today is because it's really important to me that I know I need to be better. I know that I need to have the balls to stand up to something when I hear something wrong. If it was a football match, I would have no problem saying something to a stranger, no matter how big, small, or whatever, earrings, tattoos, whatever. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But with it being in a social circle of people you know, that's where I find it hard. And that's where I need to say, and I should have said something. It's wrong, and I should have said something. And so I just wanted to come on here and basically say that it's like accountability. If I've even challenged people very, very close to me on this subject. So I normally do, but for some reason, these last 2 times I didn't challenge, and I feel a bit sick of myself. I feel a bit upset with myself, because I like to, again, my environment, I like to hold myself to a high standard. And that, my friends, is where I fell massively short. And so I want to be open and honest with the podcast and my kids when they listen to this, and let them know that I don't always do things right. I've got good intentions, but I don't always execute very well. And on these 2 occasions, I don't think I executed. And this is the first time I've had any racism for a long time, for years. I mean, playing football, we used to hear it all the time, and it was horrible. But I just thought it was past that as society, as people, as educators. I just thought that we was more intelligent than that now. And it genuinely upset me to hear it. And because it's a whole bigger picture of the intelligence, the caring, the empathy, and for other people's feelings and thoughts, and it comes from a place of insecurity. I'm sure of it, because you only ridicule and comment and put down people if you're insecure. You don't do that if you're secure. So it's got to come from a place of insecurity, and it comes from a case of a place of lack of education and surrounding yourself with the wrong people who think the wrong things. And so please just take a minute and just question your environment, and just question the people you surround yourself with, and question what is right in that social circle, in that environment. And I would love everybody step up, because we've got, I believe I've got a social responsibility. I believe everybody else has got a social responsibility. And I didn't step up on this occasion. And I feel so passionate about something like this, because for me, it doesn't matter. Obviously, it doesn't matter what color anybody's skin is, what color your eyes are, what color your hair is, if you're fat, thin, indifferent, it does, or what country you're born in. It doesn't, we're all human beings. It doesn't matter. I don't get this about when we see people trying to come to this country in any sort of boats, inflatables, anything across the North Sea or across whatever. Well, it's more obviously North Sea normally. And then the comments you hear from people, uneducated, because all that you've had is the person who's making this uneducated comment. You've been born in the UK. You are so lucky. Other people aren't blessed enough to be born in this country. And all they're trying to do is support their family and do the best for their family. And they believe that chancing their family's life to cross the sea and to get to this country is the best for their family. you would do the same. You would do the same in a heartbeat. You would always do what's best for your family. And the only difference between me and somebody born in Ethiopia is that I was lucky enough to be born in this country where we've got food, where we've got running water, where we've got toilets, where we've got the NHS. And so why are we saying, I'm not saying that we can welcome everybody in, because clearly we can't do, because resources, etc. But we've got to show more empathy to people who are trying just to do the best thing for them and their life and their family. And I just, there's sort of comments I absolutely detest as well, because it's uneducated, and it's purely because you didn't earn it, I didn't earn it, but we've been lucky enough to be born in the UK. And most 99% of the people listening to this, and we do have people in, I think, 88 different countries listening to this podcast. Most people listen to this, if you've got the capacity to listen to this, and we're very, very lucky. You're in the top 10% of the world. And just being born in the UK, we are in the top 1% already. So I just find it fascinating that through nothing that we've personally done has got us here. It's just been by pure luck that you've been born where you've been born, the family you've been born into, and vice versa for me. And we've got to show empathy for people who haven't been so lucky, because it's just a roll of a dice. That could so easily just be you, who's struggling, no food, no water, no healthcare, no money, no access to earning money. No, it could so easily be you. But it's just lucky it's not you. It's somebody else. And so we've got to show empathy and try to help and support and be compassionate to every single person in this world. We're all human beings. We all were born from the same place. We're all going to end up the same place. And it's just a journey we're all on. And we all want everything. We all want the same. We just want to be happy. We want to be loved. We want to be cared for. We want to feel security. The 5 hierarchy of needs, etc. And so just have compassion for people, and just realize that just because someone looks different, it acts differently, from a different city, from a different town, from a different country, from a different continent, it doesn't make them any worse than you. It doesn't make them any better than you. It makes them exactly the same as you. We're human beings. And so we need to show compassion to other people, to other different races, to different religions, even everything. We just need to show compassion and empathy to people. And I just don't understand where this education, where thought process comes from. Mindless thought process. And the only thing I can think of is it comes from 2 things for me: a place of insecurity and that person's surroundings, what they've been brought up with, their social circles, what they consider right and wrong. Anyway, I wanted to get us off my chest, guys, girls. I don't think I've been really coherent and getting the dots joined up together in my mind, what I want to say, but hopefully if it just changes one person's thought process and how they act towards other people, then it's going to be a win, isn't it? So yeah, I wanted to get off my chest because I felt like it was very, very important. Probably why when you listen to this, it happened some time ago, but yeah, like I say, I'll start stepping up now. When I hear something wrong, that is fundamentally wrong in all normal people's way of living, then I'm going to step up and I'm going to show the courage. And if you do or don't, no judgment, because it's hard. It's really, really hard. Yeah, that's all I've got to say, guys, girls. I'll see you tomorrow when we are talking about talent. All right, guys. See you soon. Bye.